Oh, good. And yes, we are live. And welcome, welcome, welcome to today's Shining the Light on Our Community. It's exciting, really good. I'm really excited to hear and it's exciting because I am excited because we have a beautiful guest who's here to tell us all about communicating and communicating with impact, and also all about how we can communicate with animals too. Intuitive animal healing as well. So, Lesley, with me today is Lesley. Welcome, Lesley. Welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
Sophia.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you for coming on. And just let me tell everyone who's listening a little bit about you.
Sure.
Then I want to know into your story and your journey. So you're the creator and the CEO of Intuitive Animal Healing. Definitely want to talk more about that. And you're a certified core communication coach for businesses. So we've got animal healing and a coach for business, and you help people communicate with impact, which we will go into. But not
Mhm.
only that, you're the host of the Books, Yarns, and Tales TV show, Win 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 Women TV, which is on Apple TV and Amazon Fire and other things too, which you can tell us about. But your passion, your gifts and your passion have allowed you to help people and pets access their innate healing abilities and to get the root of their imbalances. And isn't it beautiful? Right at the time, look, we have another guest. She's more than welcome to come and join us. So, Lesley, like I said, thank you for joining us today. It is an honour to talk to you. But what I'd like to know a little bit, let's start like tell us about your journey. Tell us about how did you get from where to where you are now?
Wow. I truly believe that all of us are born with our own special innate abilities and talents. And that sometimes along the line, we don't know that. Um, and then we discover. But at an early age, I always had an affinity for animals in my life. And this is Bella, in case anybody's wondering who is here. I tried to feed her beforehand, and she said, "That's not what I wanted in my bowl." So she came to be here with us instead.
Wonderful.
But it was just very natural to me growing up in the country and having animals around that I just naturally spoke to them. But I
Hmm.
was always attracted to the unseen world. And I think one of my most influential times in my life was when my younger brother was having a series of operations. And we had the minister of our church came, and his wife acted as a channel as we sent prayers to my brother.
Hmm.
And that was the first time I'd ever had any kind of exposure to that. I probably was 7, 8 years old at the time. And yet, when we sat in that circle and sent prayers of love and healing to him, I felt that energy rise right up out of me, like I was the one who was carrying that energy. I formed that arrow to shoot to him. And so that was part of, I think, the makeup for me and understanding that that was normal. That
Hmm.
was just something that I did. And yet, we go into school and we get exposed to other things, and that's not normal for everybody. And so you kind of keep it in and keep it quiet. So we fast forward in years later, and I'm really interested in energy healing. And I've been learning several different modalities. But it wasn't until I came to shamanic healing that I was like, this is it. This is what makes me feel like I'm at home, that it understands my connection to the natural world and everything that lives upon it. And so that learning shamanic healing was, and continuing to learn because you never stop, was a way that really opened up the door. And it was like the first time for me to say, oh, well, why don't I do some animal communication? People seem to be open to that at the time. And so for the past 30, 35 years, I did a lot of animal communication, shamanic healing work, many workshops, and teaching along the way. But one of the things that I discovered as I've always continued to learn was that what I was seeing or feeling or experiencing in a client's household was, number one, they just wanted me to come in and, why don't you just fix my pet? Tell me what I need to do. That's
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And yet they didn't understand that their pet's energy and their energy were intertwined.
Mhm.
And it came a point for me to kind of educate the person as to what was going on. And that's when I discovered quantum physics,
Mhm.
and studying that really gave me the scientific background to talk to people about entanglement and mirror neurons in your brain, and why your pet might be having the same disease and problems that you're having. And then the environmental factors. There were so many things to that that just really expanded. And so then, as I went online to do a whole lot more teaching in a bigger arena, if we will, I met a business coach. And when I was talking to her, she just kind of said, "You're talking about my communication program." And so she said, "Why don't you take the training? And then you can really work with entrepreneurs, because some of what you're saying is people get caught up in their busy lives of work and everything else. And whatever they're bringing from that work, they're bringing home and they're not releasing it." And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." The opportunity to get out there and just talk to more people and to help more people is so, it's what we're all about. That's what we're all here, in my opinion, to really step up at this time. They're very troubled times for some people, but we're here to shine that light. And if we can help people find their own divine inner guidance and wisdom and discernment, then they can stand on their own 2 feet, which helps their pets stand on their own 4 feet.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. We are here, to shine our light, to shine the light on the world, even in these times, to overcome all the challenges, and our pets definitely pick up what we're feeling.
Yeah.
They are so much more sensitive than we are, and they're so much more in tune to us than we are.
Right.
So I just like to first of all, just honour you for what you are bringing to the
Oh,
world. Really, it is really amazing, and I would really love to have you back on shining the light on our community to talk about more about being an animal healer and connecting with our animals and how that can help us, how we
mhm.
can help our animals through helping us, and how our animals help us as well. But today I'd really like to do, because we're talking about communication and how, like, you've gone from the animal healing into helping entrepreneurs to communicate, to
Mhm.
really being able to communicate with others with impact. So tell us about that. I mean, what does that mean? We're all, you hear so much, and myself included, if I'm not aware. We're talking about all our wants and desires and everything else, but it doesn't have a lot of impact because everyone wants, or when everyone hears what everyone else wants. So how can we communicate with others and make an impact in the world?
That's such a great question. The in the program that I'm certified is called CORE, and it's CORE, and it actually stands for the pillars of 4 types of ways that we fit in and communicate. So let me just give you an example. The C is for catalyst. People who are catalyst, you give them an idea and they run with it.
Okay.
They don't want to wait. They don't want barriers put up. They don't want anything but to go forward. They're going to be in the front of the pack. They're going to take the ideas and they're going to go with it. So when you're working with catalysts, you're not going to be like telling them all of here's the facts and figures and everything else that goes on. You're going to give them that seed of an idea, and they're going to quickly go yes or no with it. So the next letter is O. O is our optimizers. And optimizers love systems. They like to have everything in place and all lined up. If I was an optimizer, behind me, you'd see all my books would be color coded and all in the right lines and everything else. That's a quick way to think about an optimizer. They're the people who have, one of my friends, she is such a total optimizer because she uses Post-it notes on a great big calendar on her wall. And that system keeps her in place. And she has something for everyone. If you needed something, she'd go, oh, I've done that. And here, I've got the paperwork on that. So those are your optimizers. Ours are relators. They're like you and I, Sophie. I mean, you relate to so many people, and we come from the heart.
Yes.
Our heart is turned on, and lots of times we just want to give that information away. And we want to share it. We want it out there in the world, and we want things to happen for everybody. And then the last one is the E, is the experts. So unlike the relator who has their heart turned on, the experts have their brains turned on.
Sure.
The experts are the ones who have all that book of knowledge. They love knowledge. They want to know, where did you get that fact? Is that true? How can I find that? How do I learn more? They would have copied down, Sacred You and the email or the website address you've got going right there, and they'd be ready to go check it out and see, how true that is for them. So I do offer a free assessment for people. They could take an assessment and go through that, and then there's a conversation. So how does that help us communicating with impact? There are 4 aspects to it very quickly tonight. Number 1 is know yourself. And this is one of the biggest pieces that I teach, whether I'm teaching you about animal communication or communicating with others. It all starts with you. Knowing yourself. Where do you fall in that core assessment is only part of it. Because once you understand where you fall, and I have to say, there are some people I can almost hear them saying, yeah, but what happened if I'm, a relator expert or an optimist with catalyst tendencies? And I'd say that's great. Some of the percentages are higher than others. And we're not going to necessarily be straight one way or the other. And that's a nice thing about this system, is that once you know yourself and you have an idea of how you communicate with other people, what are you saying in your head to yourself? We all have it. That mind chatter goes through, and we can easily go back to our own default way of being so easy without understanding, oh, wait, all right, I need to move forward. And how do I move forward? Because the second part is, once you know how you communicate in this world, or the stories you've been telling yourselves for years, because that's part of how I break that down when it comes to teaching this. You break it down so you get basic understanding, you get the tools to change some of that. Then the second part is knowing someone else, knowing them. Who are you talking to? Because you can easily then, and even whether you're on, StreamYard like we are now, whether you're
Mhm.
on a Zoom call, you can easily look at the backgrounds of who's there once you know the system and get a feel for who you're talking to just by either listening a little bit or reading what's going on. And when you know that and really paying attention to what somebody's saying, then you can speak their language. Now, that's great to speak the language, but many of us might be going, yeah, but what kind of language is that someone else is talking to me right now?
Mhm.
And that's the third part of what I teach is knowing what to say and when to say it. And that's what's really important because there's so many times where we meet new people that we don't always know what to say. And we tend, all of us, to want to avoid conflicts. We want to move forward in
Yes.
life. So if you can diffuse that conflict and use it with like a little bit of humor for some, and like here's the prime example. If you're talking to someone who's an expert and you're giving them some facts and figures and they're like, well, I don't think that's true. I know this for a fact that this is true. And after going back and forth twice or so, you might go, you know what? You're right. I happen to be wrong. You're the expert. You've got
Mm.
it all right there. And that kind of can
Yes.
just diffuses whatever's going on, that kind of conversation.
Mm.
And once you diffuse something and they're not part of a conflict, then you can see as to maybe this person is going to be a great purchaser. Maybe they're going to be that client in the future. Maybe they're going to be a good partner. Maybe we could team up for something together and make a very great success at this. Or maybe they're a promoter. Maybe they just have this big, large audience and they're good at promoting you to other people. Or perhaps, like you and I met, you have this great platform and we did a platform exchange.
French.
I'm thrilled that you're going to be on Win Win Women and I get to talk to you there.
Mm.
So there's all ways, and to be able to have those skills to really communicate with ease is so important in this time. One of the biggest things that people have problems with is that everything is outside of them. Anything that's going on, they're listening to somebody else and whatever is happening. And so inside of us, we're also kind of like, oh my gosh, who do I believe? How about yourself? How about really digging in deep to that? And I keep pointing to the heart only because the heart will tell us the truth, where our mind is just going to give us that mind chatter and answers going on. But when you can connect to who you are deep within your heart, then you can ask those important questions. Is this true to me?
Yes.
And if it's not true, you let it go. You also can raise your own vibration when something happens, whether it's a good thing or whether it's not so good thing. I like to use the phrase, how does it get any better than this?
Mhm.
Because that lifts my vibration. And I'm very much into frequencies and energy and vibration. And the
Yes.
more that you can rise above something, the better you can handle something.
Yes. Yeah. Which I love so much because I totally agree. It is really all about maintaining, or our frequency and vibration, because exactly the more when we can rise above situations, stuff's going to happen no matter
Yeah.
what, because we live in a world, and I really believe the more that we do raise our vibration, the more the stuff that comes, because it challenges us. But when we can rise above it, it doesn't affect us. So thank you for sharing that, and I totally agree.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love the core system. I really love, like about knowing knowing the best way, it's like getting to our strengths,
Yeah.
knowing what our strengths are and using them in such a powerful way. Whilst we develop the other parts of ours, because we can use those too, change, to work on our weaknesses. But I love that because when you know what type of communicator you are, and
Mhm.
what type of communicators other people are, then you can connect with them on such a higher level, as you're saying. So thank you for that. It is
Oh,
really,
you're
really
welcome. And I think
appreciated.
I would add to that is that when you communicate well, then the message that you have to share in this world also gets out there easier because you're very clear and you can speak with confidence when you know exactly what it is that you're here to do and how to articulate that.
Mm, mm. So thank you for sharing that. We do have a few people watching now, so which is great. So I'm here having a conversation with Lesley about conversations, about communication, and how we can converse, how we can have conversations that make an impact in our world, but that aren't not conflicting. When you know the way that other people are, communicators, then as you were saying before, it takes away that conflict, because we all have specialities. We can't be all. We can be a combination of a couple, but we can't be everything. So when we know what our speciality is and the best way to communicate, then we honor other people, I guess, and stuff. So thank you for sharing that, Lesley. Now
Oh,
tell
my
us.
pleasure.
Now you said that you have a I'm trying to think of the word. We will put all your links in the comments and stuff, but you have something that people can find out what type of communicator that they are.
Oh, yes, a free assessment. I
A
can
free
drop that in
assessment
the message for you.
and and stuff. And you help people on a one-on-one basis?
I do. Animal
Mm.
communication is more to one-on-one basis, but I like to work in groups because I think lots of times when you can express and talk with groups,
Yes.
then you get more out of it.
Yes.
You can hear a little bit better or listen to how somebody else presents
Understand.
something.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And what are some of the other benefits that you've experienced by using the core method?
Wow, some of the benefits that it's one of the things that kind of happens is that, and I'm not a big TV watcher, but if I was, I know that you'd be quickly going in your head, who is it who I'm speaking to? But I am big with, as a volunteer in my local library.
Uh-huh.
And so we had an open house recently. And it was, there were people there that I didn't know. And going up to somebody and asking them what they like to read gave me a quick overview of who I was talking to. And that was a lot of fun because the experts are the ones that are going to be reading the nonfiction. The relators, they like the fantasy and they like, some kind of novel going on and anything that takes them on an adventure lots of times, but anything that really feels good. So, and the catalyst, the one catalyst I did meet had gone from book to book to book to book to book, just really quickly. This is what I remember reading. Here it is. On to the next one. Now, this one was great. So it really was in a way for me to, because everything seems, or most everything is virtual, to be able to use that skill in the social settings again was very helpful when you were meeting people, trying to make them feel at ease, coming into the library setting, hoping that they're going to help volunteer or do some of the things that are locally here, support your local people. Like, you have a tribe and you're hoping everybody comes in one way or the other and brings their speciality. So I think that is one of the biggest things that benefit. But I also, when you're going to networking opportunities, as I said before, if you've got a screen full of people on a Zoom room and you go into a breakout room and you're looking at 4 to 6 people in that breakout room, you can very quickly get an idea of who you might be speaking to or with when you start to put things out there. So in my world, it's all about helping someone else. So if as I listen and watch those people, I'm like, I have a great connection for you. And so that's been a great benefit. I can quickly just kind of assess that. I'm always taking notes and getting ready for, I might connect with them in a conversation later, which is what helps you also understand what's great. Who do you need to be working with? Who are those partners who are going to bring the referrals, the raving fans to the work that you do? Because not everybody is going to. And again, that's part of knowing who you are. If you know who you are and what you do, then and I think you said it, we're not for everybody.
No.
And who we're for is it may seem narrow compared to, I work with anybody and everything, because not everybody's going to be open to what you have to offer. So when you narrow that down, you actually can then find people who you relate to, that you converse with, that you convert easily into your programs. And they're going to be your raving fans. They're going to be the ones that are going to go, I know somebody who you should talk to or who would love this. And so that's where the benefit kind of becomes, tenfold, because you never know someone who's right for your program, who they'll know and who they may introduce you to.
Yeah. Wonderful. I love it. I love that. And there'd be so many more other benefits, especially if you've got a business, the business things, it's communicating with impact. Now, I just want to go back to the groups that you're saying that you prefer, that it's good to work with people in groups. Because I can see, the dynamics when you're talking with other people and stuff. So do you run groups?
I do.
You run groups?
Yeah. I have kind of a group course that I run, and then I'm starting up a group mastermind as well, to have people who've gone through the course have the mastermind, so that I truly believe that it's not a one-shot deal. It's not come in and just fix me, because you then get out into that world and you go, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do now? I don't know if I got it all.
Yeah.
And so you need to come back and say, I tried this and it didn't work for me. And then what that group does is to be able to say, I get that. This is what I did. But the other aspect of this is that sometimes we have in communicating people who are just either so shy or reserved or uncertain, that when they're in that group setting, they have more confidence again, that they're building their own ability to speak up. They're building their legs, and once you get that underneath you, then you can really fly and take off.
Sure. Thank you. Well, I certainly look forward to finding out more about your group courses and masterminds, and we will put those links in the comments and things like that. So, and people can people join your groups at any time?
Yes, because they're ongoing. So first, what happens is, I offer the free assessment, and
Yeah.
then we kind of book a call after you take that so I can go over it with you a little bit more and see where you're at. And
Sure.
if it is something that you're interested in, that's when I would offer people what I'm working on. And,
Yeah.
they can decide if it's right for them now, or
Try it
they can just say, and not at this time.
another time, maybe. And
Yeah.
so I love this. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Certainly very interested, especially because I can see how it helps people if you, well, in all life, but especially in businesses. And as you say, we live in a world of an online world, so much
Yeah.
technology. And when you have a business, it's great to be in networking, whether it's in face to face or online, and to be able to know who to talk to,
Yes.
type of thing. Who can you really connect with? Who do you need help with? And all the different types of people. Love it. Definitely want to know more. Definitely need to have you back again to talk about this and also the animal healing and being a intuitive healer and stuff. But before we go, Lesley, can I just ask you one more question? If you could do anything, if you could do one thing that would help heal our world, what would that be?
Before you even finished the question, my mind went touch a billion hearts,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and it's you we cannot be the world's best kept secret anymore. We have been called. Anyone who's on listening to this or part of your groups, I'm sure you all feel that you were called. And I'll tell you, you were born during this time for a specific reason. And it's your talents and your abilities that are really needed in this world. So to me, that means I want to touch a billion hearts, because if I've touched you in one way or the other, that was my honor and my pleasure.
hmm
Because if I plant a seed with you today,
hmm
it may sprout and you will
hmm
find your own divine inner wisdom and guidance.
hmm
And that's worth, oh, many, many billions, because you'll just be out there touching other hearts yourself.
That's and the whole ripple effect. Oh,
Yeah.
I can feel that. Talking about hearts, I can feel that
Mm,
going straight into my heart. So
yeah.
thank you, and I'd be honoured to be helped, to be on the journey, and to be able to help you to touch a billion hearts.
Oh, thank you.
I really would be, because, as you say, it's you're planting seeds and they will sprout at different times.
Yeah.
And those seeds will go out and touch other seeds, and sprout and
Definitely.
stuff, and plant other seeds, I should say. But thank you ever so much for joining us. I
Oh, thank
really,
you.
really look forward to chatting with you more.
Oh, it's
Really
been
do.
my honor and pleasure. Thank you so much for
No
having
problem.
me.
All right, and for everyone out there who is watching, do click on the links for Lesley's details. Get in contact, whether it's for the animal healing or the how to communicate with impact, because it's such, as we're talking about, it's such a needed thing. So do click on those links, and we will see you all sometime very soon.
Mhm.
Thank you.